I get a lot of requests for the letter notes with questions about what the letter notes mean. So I want to put up a video that just takes you through some of the different notation devices that I use in the letter notes. First of all, I usually have the key listed, and then I have a bass progression for bass players. But I've also got the chords listed. Anytime that I have the parentheses around 2 or more notes, in this case it's 3 notes, separated by hyphens, I've got the chord there. On music notation, the chords are designated because the notes are set up vertically. Here in the letter notation, I have them horizontal, and I put them for space purposes, I put parentheses around them, and then I'll put and one other thing is that I usually capitalize the root of the chord. So in this case, this is a C chord. The root of the chord is C, and it's a C major chord. If it's a minor chord, I'll also have minor right next to that. On this piece doesn't have any minor chords, so I don't have that there for you, but it'll have a little tiny minor. It just means A minor, F minor, D minor. Here we've got the C chord, which is C, E, G. 1, 3, 5 on C, and I've got the C is capitalized. The other thing that I get questions on quite often are the arrows. I put arrows up or down for a melody line. Here you can see a down arrow, there's an up arrow. So I put the arrows, if the melody line goes up by at least a third, in this case it goes from an A to a C, then I put a melody arrow that points the melody up, so that you don't go from the A down to the C, you go up to the C. And then here we're going from a C to an E. If they're right next door to each other, right, like here I've got an E to a D to a C, I don't put any arrows there, but once I make a leap of a third or more, I'll put an arrow. This time it's going down from a C to an A, so that there's no confusion on whether the note goes up or down, and I don't have to put the octave that it's in. I do the same thing in the bass notes. Here I've got a C, G, C, so you can hear the C, G, C, and the C goes up to a G, goes up to a C. Same thing with the F, C, F. Right here I've got a chord, a G, C, E, and the C is the root of that chord, so I've got C, bass to a G, and then a chord where all 3 notes sound simultaneously. So if I've got notes sounding simultaneously, here's a G7 chord where the notes are together, a B, F, and a G. So here I've got a chord that's a C, within these 2 notes sound together, the E and the G, and then I go right to a G7 sound, which is B, F, and G. And I didn't really designate the root of that chord because the G is on top and we don't have all the 4 notes listed, but it is a G7 sound. I'm just playing it with a B, an F, and a G, but that's a chord played simultaneously, just like that. So if you see those notes, if there are any questions, you can write and I'll try to give you an explanation. The other thing I've started doing in the last year is that I'll make a little bit different designation for notes that go quicker in the more quickly in the melody. So for instance, this is like the equivalent of a quarter note or a full beat, and these would be a little bit quicker because they're one typeface down and then italicized. So this would be, so you've got 2 fast notes, E, G, G, E, then two quick notes, A, G, E, E, D, D, C. So the notes that are just slightly smaller and italicized, I'll use that to show a little bit faster note value on that. And then I try to line up the notes, the treble clef notes, the right hand notes with the left hand notes as well as I can in a horizontal fashion. There you have a little explanation of the letter notation. I usually put a right hand melody only, and then I'll usually have a hands together. And the introduction will usually lead right into the piece with the lyrics. I put the lyrics right in between, so the lyrics will give you some timing also, because you know the song and you know the way the words flow, so you'll have the rhythm and the timing of the piece right there. When there's a tag ending, I'll usually put that down below. That'll be a tag ending because sometimes there are repeated verses. Hope you enjoy using the letter notation. I find that students learn rather quickly by using the letter notation.